It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game.
Hold on, Joe. You thought you got rid of me that easily? No chance, as Steiny would say. I give myself a 4 for that, Steiny, by the way. It's a Friday. It's the Pregame Show. After a brief hiatus, I hath returned. It is Joe Spadoni. You got me for the next hour. What are we going to talk about? Well, it's a Phil Collins Friday. It's a non-payday Friday, though. That's all right. It's a station get-together Friday. That's going to be fun. Whole stations getting out together later. We'll see who shows up, who doesn't. I'm already having my list ready. I already know who's not going to show up. There's one individual who works on the show after the morning roast. I'm just calling it now. And no, it's not Guru. It's the other guy. If Matt Steinmetz shows up today, I will be shocked. Shocked. Not that he's not a team guy, a team first guy. He just, these certain events he usually doesn't show up to. And that's all right. That's okay. Maybe he's got some other stuff going on. But for the next hour, we got a lot going on. We got... Yay!
Thank you. We got Sam Lohman in the back, by the way, doing a hell of a job taking over for your boy's absence this past week. So thank you, Sam. Picking up some extra weight. I heard Ken was filling in for me, the great Ken Luttrell, the Mets fan, the New York fan. God love him. He's down bad. His players are throwing gloves into the stands and hitting people in the face. We got the great Carter filling in, too. Kind of a whirlwind, if you will, on Tuesday. No Sam, no Spadoni. Hey, Carter. Good luck. So shout out, Carter. I had to be... basically a nurse the last couple days. The wife had food poisoning. If you've ever had food poisoning, it feels like you are dying. I'm not even just saying that just to be dramatic. That's what it feels like. Both ends of you are exploding at all times, and you can't move anywhere. You're not hungry, and you're just sweating profusely with the chills. It's the worst. It's the worst. So she was in bed for 2 days, so I had to be Mr. Mom, if you will. And no, don't get mad at me. Bay Area, Mr. Mom. It's all right. Michael Keaton, great movie. Look it up. But, I don't play that role. So that's why I was off. But I'm here now. What have I missed? Well, Giants. Can they really take the series against the Yankees? And when that would be the Giants beating the two best teams in Major League Baseball. The San Francisco Giants, who I thought were dead a couple weeks ago. I mean, that's what people were telling me. It was over. I mean, we're not even in June yet, but it was over. The season was done. Listen, anytime you play the Los Angeles Dodgers, chances are at times you're going to look silly. That team is just stacked. It is loaded from top to bottom. There's a lot of star power. Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, all MVPs. Yeah, it's going to be tough. They're getting Walker Buehler back. Is Clayton Kershaw going to pitch? Is that going to be a thing this year? I don't. But he owns the Giants. Don't worry about them. Worry about yourself. Worry about your own team. And good things can happen if you put the ball in play and you score some runs. Wow, look at that. The Giants, all of a sudden, pretty good team. And now they take on a New York Yankees squad that is en fuego. They're hot. Best team in the American League. You got Hicks v. Stroman tonight. Hell of a pitching matchup. And I'm expecting sellouts the rest of this weekend. Yeah, the Yankees help, but just because the way this team's playing, they're fun, they're energetic. Now, there are some flubs that occurred this week that have occurred during this run, but we don't want to focus too much on those, although they are stories. So when you lose the final game of a 3-game set against the Phillies, you talk about certain things. Kyle Harrison being one of them. Up and down, right? He's shown how good he can be. I think his best start was still from last season. I forget what team it was against, but my God, he was incredible. He was at home against AT&T. It was his, AT&T at Oracle Park. His entire family was there. His whole big thing. It might have been his first home start, if I'm not mistaken, but it was incredible. And he's shown that at times this season. But with any young pitcher, and sometimes it happens sooner rather than later for others, but for Harrison, it's going to be consistency and that second pitch outside of the fastball. What's it going to be? Because the hitters are too good at this level. They're just too damn good. I don't care if it's against the Rockies or against the Yankees this weekend. The hitters are too damn good for you to only have one pitch that you are confident in at all times. So he's got to build his confidence with that secondary pitch. Sometimes it's a change-up fastball guy. Sometimes it's a slider. Whatever. I know his stuff is legit, so I'm not too worried about him. But for everyone that thought he was going to be this phenom, take a step back. He's 22. Good things are ahead for Kyle Harrison. Guy's a lefty, for crying out loud. Come on. You know the lefties. Take a little bit extra sometimes. I'm just kidding, all you left-handed people. If you're left-handed, hit me up, 888-957-9570 with your left or right hand. You can also find us on Twitter. Follow me at Spadoni_Joe. We are streaming on Twitter at 95.7 The Game. I'll hit it with a retweet. Probably the most exciting thing going on Twitter, to be honest. Nothing else. Nothing big happened yesterday. I don't think. Not that no.
Move on, Joe.
Okay, I'll try. A lot of things happening. All right. I filled my plate.
At least
We're
34
good.
things happened.
It's all good. We did it. 888-957-9570. What have you been pleasantly surprised with this San Francisco Giants season thus far? As we're facing the New York Yankees here, and this is the guy that was synonymous with the Giants' offseason failures that's coming into town, larger than life. He is synonymous with American sports right now because he is the face of the New York Yankees. And the Yankees are American sports. You know, Joe Shasky, who's going to join Bonte here in about 53 minutes or so. He had a good question in thread. What do you think when you hear New York Yankees? As he literally just texted me as I'm looking at the phone right now. Joe Shasky, tremendous things happening. Tremendous. Thank you, Joe. Not Sleepy Joe, by the way. He's awake. But he said, what's the first thing when you think of the Yankees? What I think of American sports. That is literally what people call us when you're overseas in England or Scotland or Ireland, wherever. Oh, you Yank. You Yanks. I mean, sometimes it's a term of endearment. Sometimes it's not. But that's literally what people associate us with. The number one hat I see when I go overseas or traveling anywhere, it's a Yankees hat. Every single time, I swear to God. Oh, are you from New York? What? People just look at me, what? Huh? The Yankees are American sports. It's not the Cowboys. As much as we love our football here, we do. It's not the Celtics or the Lakers. It's not the Warriors. Oh, the Warriors, pretty big global brand. I'm not going to argue with that. I just think of the word Yankees, and I think American sports, and America's pastime, and that being baseball. Oh, Ozark out in Missouri wants to join in the conversation early. That's fine. 888-957-9570. We're talking Giants season thus far, and listen, I said it on Monday with Evan Giddings as we were doing our Memorial Day holiday, and RIP the great Bill Walton. That kind of took over the show that day. But before that, it was, the Giants' expectations. And I thought this week, more so than any other, this was the week for the Giants to capture the fan base. Summer is about to begin. I know some people say Memorial Day is the unofficial start. I say June 1st is always the unofficial start of summer. Finals are happening. People are graduating. This is the time to capture an audience that's going to be traveling, that's going to be maybe laying low for this, whatever. Capture that fan that doesn't have any football to watch, and the NBA Finals, after that's over, no one's going to be watching that, outside of maybe some Olympics. It's your time, San Francisco Giants, to capture the minds, the hearts of the Bay Area. And so far, so good this week. You take 2 or 3 out of the best team in the National League and the Philadelphia Phillies. Now you're hosting the big boys, the big boppers. Judge, Stanton. 2 guys that I think Giants fans kind of cringe at when they hear those names. Why? Because you felt like they should have been Giants at some point. Or at the very least, you wanted them to be Giants, right? You just wanted that big name, that big presence. Like when you look at those guys, they don't look like baseball players. They look like tight ends in the National Football League. which strikes fear into opposing fan bases and pitching staffs with their sheer size. That's what you wanted on this team. Well, you didn't get it. But you can still have a fun weekend kicking their ass. I'll tell you that. If you're a Giants fan right now, and I don't know, I know some Giants fans are hoping that first pitch to Aaron Judge is a HBP. For those that don't know, it's a hit by pitch. Yeah, kind of a big deal. I know these things. 888-957-9570. 415, first thing I get. Yes, the Giants fans are ready to heckle Arson Judge. The great Arson Judge. Oh, man. Oh, speaking of the great, speaking of the Yankees, we got a legend joining the morning roast today at 8:30. And don't worry, Ozark and Missouri. I still see you. We'll get to you in a second. But the legend himself, the longtime voice of the New York Yankees.
What did I do wrong?
That man. That was more dramatic than I thought it would be because I almost hit the wrong button. John Sterling. Since retired at the start of the season, but longtime voice of the New York freaking Yankees, John Sterling, joining the morning roast at 8:30. I can't wait. I can't. I love that man. He joined them last year at the start of the season. Remember, the Giants were opening up their season. It was interleague play, and they were in New York, and we all remember what happened. Aaron Judge bombed to deep center off Logan Webb, and that kind of set the tone for the entire season. Not going to lie. That's what it did. Now, can you set the tone for the rest of the summer this weekend? That's what I'm looking for with the San Francisco Giants. Can they set the tone of the summer? Can they do it in one series? Well, they did in the one prior. They set the tone. Now, is setting the tone in the series thrown at Aaron Judge? I'm not sure. I'm not going to begrudge a fan for wanting that. You know what? I think we have too much softness at times when it comes to our hatred in sports. And I think you can use that Aaron Judge situation and look at it and say, you know what? He played us. He played us for a fool. Our entire fan base, our entire front office, our entire city, that guy who he says he grew up a fan as, I'm not so sure. I don't know if you do that to a fan, if you're a fan of that team growing up, the way that Aaron Judge did them. But you know what? He did it. And I want Giants fans to hate the guy. We need more sports hate in baseball. I mean, I can't really think of one right now. On top of my mind, like what's the biggest sports hate or biggest baseball hated rivalry right now? I don't. Is Yankees Reds? Not really. Yankees Red Sox, like Giants Dodgers. It's so one sided. I don't like Giants fans that I talk to when they bring up the Dodgers. They feel defeated at times. Let's bring some old fashioned hate this weekend when it comes to Aaron Judge. Let's go out to Ozark in Missouri, though. Hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's not Missouri, right? It's Missouri. Ozark, what's going on, man? You're on the pregame show.
Hey, what's up, Spadoni? I want to give you a shout out. I love hearing you every morning. I know I wake up a couple hours earlier than the Bay, but hey, you're always a great person to listen to. The only thing I don't like about you is that you're from Palmer, and I'm a Salinas Cowboy.
Oh, let's go.
We got a little rival right there, but other than that, buddy, hey, you do a great job.
Hey, I appreciate you, Ozark. Thank you, sir. Anything else? You got anything on the Giants or the Warriors or anything?
Oh, hey, I love the Giants. Hey, unfortunately, we started the year a little shit or messed up, but I think we're doing good. I think we're doing really solid right now.
Thank you, Ozark. Appreciate you. I think we got that dumped. We're good. Thank you, Sam. Sam was on it. Hey, that's locked in producing right there. He almost caught himself. It's all right. He was fun. See, that's the thing with the pregame show. We make you feel good. I swear to God, the amount of people that call in and say, hey, I just love listening to your voice, and then they feel relaxed and welcoming, and then they drop an F-bomb or an S-bomb or whatever. That's all right. Ozark out in Missouri. Oh, that's good. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I went to Palma High School in Salinas, California. The rivalry is Salinas High School, so there you go. There you go. The Cowboys versus the Chieftains. Go Chieftains. Let's go. Shout out to all my Chieftains graduating. Last year for and last semester, I should say, for all boys high school. It's going to be co-ed starting next year. First time Palma's been co-ed, I think, about 60 plus years. Seeing a lot of schools do that now. A lot more money. That's why. Money. Private schools doing that. Ron Wotus, former coach with the San Francisco Giants. Is he still part of the organization, Sam?
Yeah, I believe so. He does some like infield work pregame with guys every night.
Okay, so he's part of it because I know he does pre and post. He does a great job. I love listening to Ron Wotus.
It's like a hybrid coach.
Okay, for sure. Like an assistant to the coach, right?
Like he's in like uniform pregame, but then like during the game he's up in the press box.
Okay, cool. All right. Great hair, by the way. Elite lettuce on Ron Wotus. He joined the boys yesterday, and I actually was listening because I was dropping off young Benjamin to preschool. Speaking of graduation, I'm not ready for that kid to be going to kindergarten in a couple months. I might be crying. That's neither here nor there. Ron Wotus on a couple of things here, and I want to play all of them. And we started with Kyle Harrison's struggle, so I want to get to that one first. Here's Ron Wotus, 3-time World Series champion with the San Francisco Giants, talking about Kyle Harrison's struggles against the Phillies a couple days ago.
He has outstanding stuff. You know, he's got a swing and miss fastball, let up shoot fastball up in the zone. A very effective pitch for him. But as you said, if you don't get ahead of hitters or have a secondary pitch that you can throw for a strike, you know, when you need it, it makes it a lot more difficult to get major league hitters out. And he's done a good job. But yesterday he struggled. But again, if you saw him at the beginning of last year in Sacramento like I did, and he had a difficult time just, getting through. He had 60 pitches for a while and getting through 3 innings, 2 or 3 innings because of the walks and the command. What he's doing for us, where he's pitching in the major leagues compared to where he was at last year, is huge improvement.
Ron Wotus, again, if you want to find that entire interview, search 95.7 The Game on YouTube. You can find it there, as well as any of our other elite interviews like we're going to have with John Sterling at 8:30 with Bonte and Chasky, the Morning Roast. Also, you can download the Odyssey app, favorite 95.7 The Game, and thousands of other stations, whether you're into bird watching, aliens, Aztec temples, Mayan culture. I'm just going through whatever I was watching or reading on my YouTube list. All those things, you can find them there as well, and all those interviews on that Odyssey app. Download it, take it wherever you need to go. It is the best. All right, so he's not too worried about Kyle Harrison. I'm not either. I just think the expectations, when you have like phenom attached to you in baseball, it's so interesting too, because you can hear this name for ages and they never end up being anything. Right? And I don't want to throw this guy under the bus particularly because I think his bat has been pretty damn good, but just the glove just hasn't been. It's Marco Luciano. Like, would I be shocked if the Giants traded him at the trade deadline? No, I wouldn't be. Like, would I be shocked if he didn't turn into someone? No. Because baseball, more than any other sport, whether you're talking about basketball or football, it is consistency year in and year out. You could be a dud for 6 months and you could be out of a job. I just watched Andrew Wiggins be a dud for damn near an entire season, and he's still going to be commanding $20+ million a year. It's just different. Will Myers, who was a pretty good player for the San Diego Padres when healthy, is out of baseball right now. I think he's only 32. Why? Because he wasn't very good last year. It is what it is. It's a production-based business more so than any other sport, especially in Major League Baseball. So if Luciano continues to boot the ball, and then the bat cools off, yeah, then he's done. Kaput. Now, if he keeps that bat hot, keep that trade value up, I think the Giants look at maybe a Pete Alonso or something like that, or what other big name is going to be out there on a bad team they could potentially move off of. Because right now, you look at Luis Matos and Elliot Ramos, and you're like, oh, our future bats are hot. And you know what? I've seen Matos improve with the glove. I know Jung-Hoo Lee is going to be back next season. Elliot Ramos, been very impressed with both ends, offensively and defensively. Speaking of Matos, in his improvement at the plate, Here's what Ron Matos had to say yesterday about it.
The pure hitter is certainly Matos. I mean, he's, has the real good bat-to-ball skills. His biggest adjustment this winter is, besides just some natural maturity, is he really hit the weights hard and he got a lot stronger. If you remember last year, a lot of the balls he was hit, they were going to the warning track and he was putting the ball in play, but he really bulked up. He got a lot stronger, and that extra strength has really helped him. Now he's really driving the ball.
Luis Matos. Ron Matos there talking about his improvements at the plate and physically just getting bigger and stronger. And sometimes it could be as simple as that. New off-season routine, getting bulked up, hitting the weight room, and a couple of extra feet on that ball does the body good. It does it good for your baseball card, but for your mentals. Like, how frustrating would it be if you're a player and you're Luis Matos and you struck a ball so damn well, and you knew it should have been, a double or a home run, or at the very least a single or something. And it was a line out, or it was a fly ball, and it just warning track power. You use that term a lot. It's got to be so frustrating when you know you struck it as well as you possibly could, and especially in this ballpark at Oracle Park, when you need to be striking it perfectly, and you got to have that strength as well. It's got to be frustrating. So what did he do about it? Did he complain about it? Did he say we should change the ballpark's dimensions? No. He hit the weight room. He got better. Put his head down. Didn't complain. And now he's reaping the benefits of said workout. More from Ron Matos, real quick. Again, great interview. I just like picking the minds of guys that have been there and done that and that work with these guys daily. And not only is he working with them, but he's also telling us, the audience, what he's seeing with them every single day. That's why, again, it's like having Bob Myers still be like an assistant with the organization, or an advisor. That's the word I'm looking at. An advisor. But also doing the broadcasting gig. That's what we're getting with Ron Matos locally. And I think we should be leaning into that. I mean, this is a guy who's breaking it down pre and post game almost every single day with the elite lettuce, with the nice specs, and telling us what he's seeing behind the scenes and on the field. And what is he seeing with Brett Wisley? Yeah, let's get to Brett Wisley first, actually, because this one, and as I do my Chris Collinsworth, here's a guy, and by the way, I was on the Brett Wisley, Sam Lubman lookalike before it was cool. All right. I said this, and Sam can speak on it. But Brett Wisley this year, again, small sample size, but 25 at bats. He's batting .400. He's got a jack, 6 RBIs, 10 hits, 560 slugging, 945 OPS. Guy's just been a baller. Is he the biggest guy? No. He's 5'9", $180. But he's gritty. He's fast. Does things the right way. It's kind of like I'm talking about a slot receiver in National Football League, whether it's Julian Edelman or Hunter Renfrow. By the way, has anyone signed Hunter Renfrow yet? Someone should sign him. Niners should. Why not? They just signed Juwan Jennings, $10 million guaranteed. Jalen Waddle getting more money too. 3-year extension for him. Where's Brandon Aiyuk's money? We'll discuss that on the other side maybe a little bit. But Ron Matos talking about Brett Wisley being more mature.
So Wisley is maturing. I mean, he's really not a shortstop. He hasn't played a lot of shortstop in the minor leagues. He's a heck of a second baseman, outfielder. But it just shows you, another year of reps on his development. And, it's hard to predict these things. But I think a lot of the young kids, that's the biggest difference why they're contributing so much. They have another year under their belt. They're a lot more comfortable, and they're a lot more prepared to compete at this level.
And what's the biggest difference between the Brett Wisley of this year compared to last year?
Well, maturity. And, I think to the previous question, we continue along that theme. He's a year older. And I'm going to say that the whole lot of young players, I mean, a lot of these guys were up last year. We've seen Ramos before. We've seen Wisley. We've seen a number of these guys. And I think, a lot of them, it was the first time in the big leagues are getting an opportunity. And maybe, they're giving their best, but there's an adjustment period at the major league level. So they all had a taste last year. Now they've gone back. and they're getting more reps. You know, would you rather be Sacramento or San Francisco playing baseball?
Ha! Well, there's going to be a Major League Baseball team playing in Sacramento next year, Ron. That little last line is hilarious. That's great. I hope it was a subtle shot at the A's. They deserve every single one of them. Mason Miller, by the way, he's dead to me. God, I mean, he's blowing saves now? Jose Siri, pimp job? Come on, Mason. I'm just kidding. He's a friend of the station. Just hurt me.
Giants legend, Jose Siri.
Oh, that's right.
For about 2.5 weeks in spring training of 2020.
That's right. You can use him right now. Guy's balling.
Thanks, Farhan.
Hey, speaking of Farhan.
Farhan's been doing good lately, but, thanks, Farhan.
Well, it's a week-to-week league. Week-to-week league, I guess we can say that here. Not for the NFL.
That's a minute.
Yeah, right. If he gets swept this weekend, everyone's going to be dead. He's dead to me now. Arson Judge, scorched earth. God, the Arson Judge thing. Maybe we revisit that, too, at some point.
A's might be the new hit team on Monday of this weekend.
God. Oh, please. God bless the A's. They should have swept the Rays, and they didn't do that. But I'm not giving the A's that. They shouldn't sweep anyone. They're the A's. They could have
get those sweeps on the road.
Exactly. They could.
Even great teams have trouble with that.
They could. Well, don't forget the great A's-Rays rivalry of years past. Much like Rays-Yankees.
Nothing holds a candle to Rays-Yankees.
Thank you. Giants-Yankees rivalry renewed perhaps this weekend. Arson Judge coming back to town. How are we feeling about Aaron Judge coming back here? The last time he was here, ladies and gentlemen, now I don't know this for a fact, maybe vacations here, I doubt it, but the last time Aaron Judge was in San Francisco was during December of 2022. What was he doing? He's meeting with Farhan Zaidi, meeting with Rich Aurelia, meeting with all the Giants people. And what did he do? Played him for a fiddle. You know what? We're going to talk about on the other side. You throwing at him, Giants fans? Do you want the first pitch to be right on the butt cheek of one Aaron Judge? That's what I want to know. 888-957-9570. Plus, it's a Phil Collins Friday. And what the current landscape is in San Francisco and specifically Santa Clara with one Brandon Aiyuk. Some stuff happened this week that could either be a good thing or a bad thing for him. I'll discuss that on the other side. It's the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Made to shine. Real stories from Shane Company customers.
I couldn't believe all the colors of stones you could choose from.
Next question. It is the pregame show. Joe Spadoni. It's a Phil Collins Friday, too. Sing it, Phil. God, again, no one, and I mean no one, in the history of music rocked a receding hairline better than one Oscar-winning, Grammy-winning Phil Collins. There you go. Juwan Jennings, one-time Super Bowl MVP for like a couple quarters maybe, got paid. 49ers signed wide receiver Juwan Jennings through 2025. The contract is worth up to $15.4 million, including $10.5 million guaranteed. Agents Drew and Jason Rosenhaus told ESPN's Adam Schefter. So there you go. Juwan Jennings gets paid. Also, Dolphins signing wide receiver Jalen Waddle to a 3-year, $84.75 million contract extension. Annual value of $28.25 million, joining $30 million per year man, Tyreek Hill as well. $76 million of that, by the way, is guaranteed for Waddle. And that vaults him into the top 5 highest paid receivers, again, in terms of annual average annual value. So Juwan gets a little bump. Good for him. Not bad for being the third wide receiver on a Super Bowl squad. And Jalen Waddle gets paid. When's Brandon Aiyuk getting his money? Is he going to get paid? Are the Niners going to pay him? Or are they just going to be like, And you can say Spadoni, they did this with Debo, they did this with Nick Bosa. Yeah, but why? I don't know. I feel like we've learned from both Debo and Nick Bosa last year that when you keep piddle-paddling your feet around this for the 49ers, there's going to be some consequences. And when it was Debo, he didn't have his best season. He didn't come into training camp in the greatest of shape. And it took him damn near the entire season for him to get into shape, and it wasn't his best year after getting paid. Nick Bosa last year, for his standards, which is DPOY standards, coming off of that, he did not live up to expectations. Still very good, still top 10 at his position, but I needed him to be top 5 consistently, and he wasn't that last year. That is what I'm talking about when it means letting things bleed in too long into an off-season regimen, into training camp, into what have you. Get Brandon Aiyuk paid or move on from him. Simple as that, right? It should be as simple as that, unless they're content, just play out this year. And then what does Brandon Aiyuk do in that? Does he have the balls? Does he have the gall to say, I'm not playing on this 1 year? I'm not playing on this. I don't have security. I'm not doing that. Okay. All right. Then you're going to lose money. And right now you need money. He's like, yeah, I'm fine. That's when the Le'Veon Bell Steelers situation takes hold. And what do the Steelers do? And it's funny because Mike Tomlin I always associate with blinking a lot. But in this situation, they didn't blink. Right? The Steelers are like, all right, want to sit out? Fine. And they played hardball. I don't think the Niners will do that. I don't think that's the organization. But again, I look at great organizations, and I actually think the Steelers are right up there at the top. As much as I was born and bred to hate Pittsburgh, because my dad was a massive Raiders fan. My mom and dad's first ever date was a Raiders game at the Coliseum. Hate Pittsburgh. My dad used another word to describe Pittsburgh. It rhymes with Pitt. Just think about that. And we're not talking about Pittsburgh, California. And it may be a type of excrement, Sam. How about that? You looked confused when I said it rhymes with Pitt. It's a bad word. Just think about it. Pittsburgh, I know, don't got no Steelers. R.I.P. Mac Dre.
the more and more guys like Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, right? A.J. Brown, some of the peers of a Brandon Aiyuk keep getting paid and paid and paid. I just feel like his price tag keeps going up and up and up. From the Xfinity mobile text line, 888-957-9570 is the number. Brandon Aiyuk will be a 49er at the start of the season. Don't worry, Spadoni. Okay, I'm not worrying. I'm just saying, I don't think that's a lock. And maybe he will be under the 49ers umbrella, but if he's not with the team on week 1, then he's not on the team. Right? You could say, oh, well, Chris Jones did with the Chiefs last year. Chris Jones had won a championship before. The Chiefs have already won a championship. This is the closing window right now with the San Francisco 49ers. If they don't win it this year, they're never winning one under Kyle Shanahan. You can say that's ridiculous. That's ludicrous. Kyle Shanahan could be coaching the 49ers for another 20 years. That's great. It's going to be their best opportunity to win one. I'll tell you right now, this season, probably was last season if we wanted to keep it a buck. Not even close. It was last season if you wanted to win the Super Bowl. But this is the last opportunity that you're going to have, this Super Bowl window. And I would like to have my best wide receiver be a part of that. It would make the guy I'm about to pay a lot of money and Brock Purdy very happy. And I would like my quarterback to be very happy. Logan Ryan, Niners DB, talking about the 49ers Super Bowl window. He's saying this is their year.
I think this is a window right now, and they're in it. And we know with great teams or trying to win championships or try to contend and get to that level year in and year, that takes a toll. It's really hard. You're playing a lot more games than everyone else. You're practicing a full month longer than everyone else, and that adds up. And I think San Fran is right in it, and they know with the roster they have, when they pay Brock Purdy, and they will pay Brock Purdy, that they cannot keep everybody else. So I think that the foundation pieces of what we see, a Kittle, a Debo, a Trent, a Fred, a Bosa, a Hargrave, it's hard to keep all those pieces together for 5-10 years if you're not winning championships. So this is their window right now. They're in it. I think they're right in it. I think last year was a great opportunity. Obviously, we're sick about that. But I think this year, I think they're the team. I think this is their year.
Logan Ryan, former 49ers DB, on with The Herd, Colin Cowherd, Fox Sports Radio. So that was Logan Ryan talking about the window, the Super Bowl window. I'm just saying, I would like to have my best wide receiver in week 1. And I feel like as long as this thing keeps going and creeping, and again, Spadoni, it's not even June 1st. Wake me up after the Olympics. Wake me up after training camp, during training camp, whatever. Okay, fine. We saw how that worked out with Deebo Samuel, and we saw how that worked out with Nick Bosa. Underachieving seasons for both of them. And I'm willing to wager, and I'd be willing to bet the same thing would happen to Brandon Aiyuk if you let it creep as far as those two contracts did. If you want to play with fire, by all means. By all means. Speaking of not playing with fire and putting on ice water onto a giant cauldron of flames, that was the Dallas Mavericks ousting the Minnesota Timberwolves. Night, night, see you later. 124-103. Dallas wins the series in 5. Luka Doncic, this guy's incredible. 14-22, 6 of 10 from beyond the arc, 10 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, 36 points. Kyrie Irving, 14-27. Like, that was filthy. Absolute filth. And it was in Minnesota, too. And by the way, in a must-win game, in a do-or-die game, I just look at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Ugh. 1 of 6 from beyond the arc for Karl Anthony Towns. Not great. Not going to cut it. Just Naz Reid, 2 of 10. They felt the pressure and they wilted it. They wilted. They were also gassed. That's fine if we want to use that excuse. Dallas, I think they just had the better 2 players. For as much as I love Anthony Edwards, and I've been talking about him being the future face of the league, and he still might be that. because I love his personality. I love his charisma. I love everything about him. He came up small in this series. And there is still levels to this game that he needs to match Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving on. And he is not on their level yet. He's a star. Those two are superstars. And I think they can win the NBA title. I mean, obviously, they're in it. But I still am leaning Boston. I'm leaning Boston in, I want to say 6, maybe 7. Don't quote me on that. We have a whole damn week to figure it out and have our final previews. But I'm leaning Boston. I've liked Boston the entire time. I think they're the healthiest team. I think they've had the path of least resistance. I think this is their year. But man, the way Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving are playing right now, scary for the rest of the league going forward. 888-957-9570. I can hear your initial thoughts on that NBA Finals matchup if you'd like. Again, we got one more segment before handing off to Bonta Hill and Joe Shasky on this non-payday Friday, on a Phil Collins Friday. Brandon Aiyuk, are you getting concerned, 49ers fans, seeing everyone else get paid but your guy? We'll discuss that, plus your thoughts on the Giants-Yankees. Are you throwing at Aaron Judge the first time you see him? Where are you throwing it, by the way? You throwing it at the arm, the shoulder, the butt cheek? Not the head. We don't do that. We don't do that. A little sweet chin music's fine every now and then. Shout out Kyle Harrison. I wasn't mad at it. I actually loved Harrison going at Harper like that. That was pretty badass for the young guy. We're up against it, though. All that and more on 95.7 The Game.
Founded in 1964, Fremont Bank understands the difference 60 years can make. It's the difference found in the details. The difference between
Joe Shasky's fired up, man. He's fired up. He's decked out his baseball gear. He's listening to Phil Collins on a Phil Collins Friday. He's feeling it. They're going to be joined, Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky, are going to be joined by John Sterling, longtime voice of the New York Yankees. You've heard his... Come on. I mean, we play stuff all the time, but for those that don't know who he is, that guy, the Yankees win. 8:30, appointment radio. We had him on last year before the season started. Just a wealth of just knowledge in the history of the sport. And who better to break down Yankees v. Giants, two iconic brands, two iconic teams. And when I think of the New York Yankees, I think of American sports. It's not the Cowboys. It's not the Lakers. It's not the Warriors. It's not the Patriots. I think of the New York Yankees. A name synonymous with Americans. We wear that as a badge of honor. When people call us Yanks, yeah, we're Yanks. That's fine. That's what they used to call it during the Civil War, right? The Northerners were the Yankees. That is what I think about. And the face of that team came to San Francisco a couple of years ago and met with Farhan Zaidi, Rich Aurelia, who was one of his favorite players growing up, Buster Posey, everyone. All the Giants brass. The red carpet, the orange carpet was rolled out for one Aaron, don't call him Arson Judge. And what did he do? He filmed it. I'm walking in. I'm in San Francisco. And he played you like a fiddle and signed $1 bajillion with who? The team he was always going to sign with. New York Yankees. Wasn't leaving them. Hey, I personally would love to stay in the Bay over New York City. And I love New York City. I love the Bay Area. Family, hopefully stay here my entire life. And my kids. Maybe I move back to the Monterey Peninsula, but I love Northern California specifically. He played the entire Bay Area, the Bay Area market for fools. Yes, I'm okay with throwing at him in the very first pitch that I see him. Butt cheek, shoulder, whatever. Someplace that's not serious. Now, might hurt from Jordan Hicks. It's all right. Wear it like a badge of honor. Arson. And hit out of the ballpark next. But before we talk Giants, we want to put a little bow on the Brandon Aiyuk conversation we were just having. For those of you who don't know, Jalen Waddle, Dolphins wide receiver, just got paid. 3 years, $84.75 million extension. 76 of that is guaranteed, which vaults him into the top 5 highest paid wide receivers in terms of average annual value. Juwan Jennings, 49ers wide receiver, just got paid $10 million. When is Brandon Aiyuk's turn? Well, Oreo Cookie has some thoughts on Brandon Aiyuk. Oreo, what's going on, man? You're on the pregame show.
Hey, good morning, man. First things first. Thank God it's Friday.
Oh, thank God.
But I would hesitate a little bit to pay Brandon as a number one. Please don't get me wrong. Brandon is solid. Brandon is good. He's a solid number 2. We cannot pay him number 1 money, especially with the upcoming payments that are coming up for the 49ers. With the Waddle contract, man, I think that throws something off because he's their number 2. He isn't a number 1, but he's getting paid as number 1. Where for us, I think Debo is still our number 1, and I think Brandon has to have another year to prove it before he gets paid as a number 1.
That's Oreo Cookie. Oreo, what are you doing this weekend, bud?
I'm going to the beach, man. I found a nice spot out there on Monterey. It's called, I think, Moss Landing.
Yeah.
There's a big stretch of beach, man. It looked real nice, dude, so I'm bringing the family over there.
Be prepared. It gets foggy out in that neck of the woods, but it is beautiful. If you kayak, if you're into that sort of stuff, great kayaking, but you get to see a lot of the marine life over there. Very beautiful area, so have fun this weekend, Oreo.
Yeah, I saw a lot of sea lions out there when I was out there, man, so I don't know how deep on the water I'm going to get, I'll tell you that.
No. Don't get too deep, Oreo, all right? It gets chill. Hey, This isn't San Diego. This isn't LA. This isn't Hawaii. It gets cold. We got cold water up here, man. We got all that runoff from the Alaska area, all that cold, icy water. Yeah. Either wearing a wetsuit or you're just sticking your feet in there. There's no in between. Unless it's a really, really hot day. What is the weather going to be like today? Let me see. Weather, Bay Area. It's not bad. Okay. It was hot yesterday. It was like in the 80s, my neck of the woods out in East Oakland. 71 today. 69 degrees. Okay. Not bad. It's been beautiful. This has been a banner week for Bay Area weather. And there's nothing better than having that natural air conditioning, is what I like to call it. I think Shasky calls it the same thing. When you're golfing or whatever you're doing, it's a very hot day, and then you just come home and you see that beautiful fog layer, that marine layer you're driving into, roll down those windows. Oh, spectacular. I kind of miss it. I do. Because in Oakland, it's just pretty much warm all the time. It gets a little chilly at night, but that's all right. But back to actual sports. Oreo Cookie was talking about Brandon Aiyuk not being a number one. Not demanding. He doesn't think he's worthy of a number one wide receiver money. Well, I just said Jalen Waddle. He's not a number one on his team. He's a number two. Tyreek Hill's the number one. But Mike McDaniel knows with that offense, which is a Kyle Shanahan offense, he needs more than one playmaker. He knows who his noodle arm quarterback is in Tua Tagovailoa. He needs help for him. All the help he can get. And having Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle both locked up for the next couple of years was a massive, massive priority. And so they're both locked up. It's time to lock up Brandon Aiyuk for the 49ers. And it doesn't matter if you view him as a number one around the league in comparison. Like, do I think Brandon Aiyuk is better than A.J. Brown? No. Do I think he's better than Amon-Ra St. Brown? No. Do I think he's better than Tyreek Hill? No. Do I think he's better than Jalen Waddle? Yes. Do I think he's better than Devontae Adams? No. But those are the top 5 average annual salary guys in the NFL at the wide receiver position. A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Adams. But for this team, and I disagree with Oreo saying that he believes Deebo Samuel's the number one wide receiver. He's the number one playmaker at times. But even then, you got pushed that to a side. Christian McCaffrey does all that now. And better. I need a legit route running machine, and that is what Brandon Aiyuk does. In this sophisticated Shanahan offense, which demands a hell of a lot from the wide receiver position, whether it's blocking, whether it's you're being in the right assignment at the right place at the right time. This offense, more than any other, is complex and as nuanced as it is, demands you have a polished, bona fide wide receiver, specifically with a route running degree. And that is what Brandon Aiyuk brings to the table. You lose him, good luck, is all I'm going to say. Good luck. Shout out Liam Neeson and Taken. Good luck. From, let's see, do I have any sound? No. From the Xfinity Mobile text line, got a couple minutes here, 888-957-9570. 510, this is what the 49ers do. They like to F around. Brandon will get his dough. Again, that's fine. F around and find out, though. That's what the saying goes, 510. F around and find out. Because what I cannot afford this season, if I'm the San Francisco 49ers, what I cannot afford is to have Brandon Aiyuk be less than what he was last year. Because if he's less than what he was last year, and you already have an older Deebo Samuel, you already have an older George Kittle, a lot of wear and tear on both of those guys. Now all of a sudden my offense that looked to be more explosive and dangerous than anyone else's is a little bit more pedestrian. Oh, and by the way, Christian McCaffrey, he's also probably going to be holding out. I don't know if you've noticed, but he's not attending OTAs. And I don't blame the guy. He's their best weapon offensively, bar none. And he deserves just as much money, if not more than Brandon Aiyuk. but it's the position, and he won't get it. And that sucks. He has the position to play massive hardball in all of this. I mean, this offense, and we're talking about Brandon Aiyuk in the offense changing. I mean, Christian McCaffrey missing time? Are you kidding me? Good luck, Brock. Yeah, good luck. For as much as I love George Kittle and Deebo Samuel and Brandon Aiyuk, Christian McCaffrey makes it all go. He is that missing gear on that Rolex watch that makes everything just spin. No tick, 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 tick. No. The 49ers are a Rolex. They roll. They don't have any wasted motion, any ticks, no Seiko watches, anything like that. Nothing like that. No calculator watch. No. It's a Rolex. And it became a Rolex when you got Christian McCaffrey. You take him out of the equation, good luck. Good luck with Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky as they're coming up next on 95.7 The Game. You all enjoy your weekend.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Introducing